All right, I have two great tips for you for panoramas. One is just going to help you to know that you took a panorama. It'll make sure you don't miss it when you're looking through all your images in Lightroom. The other one's going to cut your processing time. Here's why. With today's cameras being like 18 megapixels, 24 megapixels, 36 megapixels, you know how long it can take Photoshop to stitch together a pano? It could be 20 minutes. But what happens if it stitches the whole thing together and you've waited 20 minutes and it did a perfect job of it, because it will do a great job, but you look at the photo and you just go, I don't really like it. Just because it came together perfectly doesn't mean it's going to make a fabulous photo, and now you've wasted 20 minutes. So let's tackle both tips. Tip number one. Tip number one is actually a camera tip. The camera tip is this. What you're going to do is you're going to actually take the lens cap off because it works much better. You're going to hold up your camera, put your finger up before you shoot your pano, and take a shot of your finger. Then you're going to shoot your pano, all your different frames. At the end, you're going to hold up two fingers. That way, when you look at your images later, you see one finger and two finger. That tells you you shot a pano. Because look on screen right here. I'm looking at these things, I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? This is a bunch of shots that look real similar. This isn't so great. But if I scroll up, oh, there's my finger. I did a pano. So you know, if you see one finger and two fingers, everything in between it is a pano. So let's select everything from here to there. That's a pano. All right, that's trick one. Trick two is this. I've got all these high resolution images. This is 13 photos. You know how long this is going to take to stitch together? No, we got a trick for that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to export these using the export preset that's already there. We're going to export them to where it exports small, low-res JPEGs. So instead of 13 huge images, it's going to give us 13 very, very small images. So small that Photoshop can probably put them together in a minute or so. And then you can see whether you want to invest 20 minutes. You'll see the low res and think, wow, this looks great, or I'm glad I didn't spend 20 minutes on that. Here's how you do it. Go under the File menu, go to Export, and bring up the Export window. You want to click on this preset that's already right there for email hard drive. That means use the email settings, make it small, low-res JPEG, 640 size, but then it's going to save it to your hard drive. You want to do one other thing. You want to say, nope, I don't want to just save it to my hard drive and show it in my desktop. I want you to actually open it in Photoshop. You choose Open in Photoshop. You click Export. It's going to ask you where to save it. So we'll make a folder here. Let's make a folder called Pano 2 and click Open. And it's going to take your high-res, raw files or whatever, export them, and it's going to open them here in Photoshop. I have Photoshop to open up all my JPEGs in Camera Raw, so we'll just hit Open Images. But it's going to open up like this. You're going to see all these images open and ready to go. Now, all you have to do, since they're small, low-res JPEGs, go under the File menu, go under Automate, and choose Photo Merge. It's going to bring up this window, and you're going to click this button right here. Add Open Files, because all the files are already open in Photoshop. You click Add Open Files. Then you click OK, sit back, and Photoshop will do all the work. It will take all the images, put them together, and it will create a new document. You can see the documents got some banding. It fixes that. Boom, it's done. Now you see how quickly it's done. You're like, okay, well, maybe I want to work on this or not. While we're here, can I give you a little Photoshop tip just for fun? Okay, I didn't think you'd mind since you're members at NAP. Let's go ahead and go flatten the image, and I'm going to crop it a little bit in here. There's a lot of white space down here. All right, and then we're going to go get the Magic Wand tool, and I'm just going to select a couple of areas. I'm going to select this area here, hold the Shift key, hit that area there, and hold the Shift key and hit that area up there. So it's pretty much selected everything. The only problem is it selected this area I didn't want. It actually selected a little too much. So I'm going to get the rectangular marquee tool, and if I hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC, it lets me remove from my selection. Let's remove that. All right, so now we're where we want to be. I want to use a thing in Photoshop called Content Aware Fill that will fill in these gaps using a smart way to fill it. It'll look and say, oh, this area is sky, this area is trees, that area is clouds. Let's put more of that there. It's pretty amazing, really. Let's go. To make this work better, we're going to take the selection that's in place and expand it by 4 pixels. That's it, 4 pixels. Watch. Select, modify, expand. Click OK. It expands it out 4 pixels. You can actually see it kind of dig a little into the photo, and that's what it needs, because right now we have all white selected. It needs a little bit of the photo, just a tiny bit, to go, oh, okay, see what we're working on. Now you go under the Edit menu, to fill. And by default comes up, use content aware. If it doesn't say content aware there, just click on it and choose content aware. Click OK and watch the magic happen. Boom. Isn't that insane? All right, there's a couple of different tips for you on panos. There's how to know when you shot a pano using the finger trick. There's how to get really, really quick panos and to see if it's worth investing 20 minutes before you do it. And then number 3, we threw in a little content aware fill tip there just because we could.